Hi everyone. Checking in now that we are getting ready to head into week 3. We're finishing up week 2, so we're getting really close to hitting that halfway point. And I wanted to once again, check in on things and give you some vital information and make sure that we're all kind of on the same page and following along nicely. I want to commend a lot of you because you've been reaching out to me when you have questions or concerns or if you just want to talk to me. And I love it. I love talking to you. So please keep doing that. I'm happy to chat with you through email, phone conversations. If you can come see me on a day when I'm on campus, I'd love to have you in my office. So I think that's really great. Let's talk about where we are so far in the course. So we are finishing up week 2 tonight, and that means that your rough draft of your second essay, the compare and contrast essay, will be due by tonight. A lot of you are already getting those in, which is great. And I will start providing my feedback for those first thing tomorrow morning. And I'm hoping, obviously, to have them within a week. So I give feedback to them as they come in to me. So if you're the first one to submit, you're the first one to receive feedback. And so if we go in and we kind of look here, your first essay, the personal narrative, I have completely finished the feedback for all of those. And so make sure that you go in and you check that. It does show me those who have read the feedback and those who have not. So a couple of you still haven't looked at the feedback that I left for you. And it's really important that you do that because I'm leaving you specific comments that are going to help you improve that essay when you go to submit your final draft. And so you should be able to open it right up. I haven't made any marks to them yet. I don't do that for rough drafts. I just read through them and then I provide written comments on how you can make sure to improve them. When I grade final drafts, I will mark them up and leave you much more extensive feedback, and I'll use a grading rubric for those. So that is for the personal narrative. Again, the compare and contrast is due tonight, and then I will be working on the feedback for those, and then your final draft of the personal narrative, essay number 1, is what is going to be due this coming week, week 3. So let's talk about that. This is the first time that we're having a final draft due. And if you remember, and I've made sure to remind you many, many times that there's 2 points to this submission process when it comes to the final draft. So I require as a policy in this course that you need to submit final drafts to turnitin.com. And so this is not an option, and I will not grade any essays that have not been submitted to turnitin.com. So, so far in turnitin.com, only 6 people have registered into our class. So a lot of you still need to do that. The information for Turnitin.com, the ID and the enrollment password, are located in our course syllabus under policies. So everything you need is right there. You'll need to make an account and then you'll use that information and you'll log into our course. So please make sure that you do that pretty quickly. And you will see that the link for the first essay, the personal narrative, is now open. And some people have already started submitting. And you want to remember that when you do that, you're going to receive a percentage, and that percentage should be less than 25%. So if your percentage is 17%, you're good to go. If your percentage is 25% or higher, then that means that there's something in the essay that isn't, that's basically too similar to something else. And so what that's basically saying is more often than not when that happens, it's because students are quoting things in their papers. And so Turnitin will pick up on it and say, oh, you quoted this, but you didn't, cite it or whatnot. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. What it just means is you need to go back in and check and see what Turnitin is marking and flagging and see if that's an issue or not. And then obviously if you're plagiarizing, then that's an issue. But just make sure you keep an eye on your score. I'm looking here and I'm not seeing a score coming up, so I'll have to double check it and Turnitin and see what's going on with that. But once you've submitted it to Turnitin and your score is less than 25%, then you're good to go and you can jump right back into our Leo classroom and you can submit it there. But you do need to do that as well. I'm not grading them in Turnitin.com. I'm not even really looking at them there. I'm just making sure that Turnitin is making sure you aren't plagiarizing. So then when you're done with that, when you submit to Leo, that's where I'm looking at it and that's where I'm grading it. So again, I just want to remind you, I will not grade any papers that have been that have not been submitted to Turnitin, and I will not grade any papers that are 25% or higher that have not been corrected. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as the essays go. I want to remind you that you need to be using a Microsoft Word document when you submit. And I also want to remind you that you need to be using proper APA format. So a few of you are still turning in rough draft papers that are not following APA format. And in the final draft, that's going to lose you some major points. So please make sure that you understand APA format very extensively and that you follow it. It's very, very important. So we've got that. If we look ahead at week 3, we're heading into week 3. Week 3 is dealing with coherence. So this is going to go a little more extensively into paragraph writing and making sure that you're structuring paragraphs properly, and deals with transition sentences and things of that manner. And so I know that in week 3 you do have, again, 2 discussion boards. You have a quiz, and then you need to submit the final draft, of the personal narrative. A final note, I just recently updated the syllabus for late work. In there, I had stated my policy for essays, that I accept essays up to a week late and they lose points. But I didn't specifically state what happens with discussion boards and quizzes. So I made sure to go in there just now and update that for you, so that makes a little more sense. So you will see that changed if you have an older version. But my policy as far as late work goes is that, again, with essays, I will accept them up until the following week from when they were due, but they are going to lose 2 points per day. After that following week, they receive a 0. When it comes to quizzes, again, I will accept those up to a week late, but they're also going to lose 2 points per day. And then with discussion boards, there really is no late for those, because they're not being graded. Even though they're not being graded, they're still being watched and monitored very closely. I look at them every day, and then at the end of each week that they're due, I mark down who is late on them, who put in their best effort on those, who just didn't even do them. And so I'm keeping track of everything with that. So there really is no late when it comes to discussion boards. The initial post is due every Wednesday, and the responses are due by Sunday. Okay. So again, if you're having any issues or you need any help, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, we're chugging along and we're doing really well. I believe that's pretty much all I had for you. And otherwise, if you need me, please contact me. And I hope that you guys have a really great week 3. Thanks for all the hard work, guys.